One thing I gotta say when it comes to hacks and homebrews, it's never a dull moment. Wow. Greetings fellow Vita fans, this is James with PS Vita at 2 AM, coming at you once again with another exciting video. And if you're new here and love everything PlayStation Vita, don't forget to subscribe, and make sure to leave me your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section. So you remember how last week I made a video talking about how we had our first negative homebrew news ever, in that the Flow, one of the PS Vita's most prominent modders out there, left the scene for good? Yeah, I don't think any of us are ever gonna forget about that. Well, this is the complete opposite. Talk about doing a 180. In fact, this hacks and homebrew news for the Vita was so big, it was one of those rare instances where you had certain websites covering it. And I know this is going to be a big deal for many people out there, but I am proud to announce, guys, that it is now possible for PS Vita games to be played on the Nintendo Switch. Yup. They're friends now. Something tells me that Sony and Nintendo wouldn't be down with this. But the following article comes from Attribution.com, and it goes as such: Nintendo Switch can supposedly run PS Vita games now. You can play your favorite PS Vita games on your Nintendo Switch console thanks to the work of an independent Spanish developer. Is this what they warned us about in Ghostbusters by crossing the streams? Gaming has come a long way from the early days of its inception. We got consoles, machines able to run video games, but with them we also got console exclusives. Some games would only be made and released for specific consoles by specific companies to boost their own sales and rake in their large profits, which I'll be honest seems to be less and less of a thing these days, unless you really count like some of the top tier first party games, but it seems like we're getting a lot more ports in modern era. Then again, everybody seems to be buying everybody else these days, so yeah, but anyway, I digress. Hooray for money! That did not stop the community from thinking up its own solution, and then came emulation, which allowed people to run said exclusives outside of their locked hardware. They got a point there. We have been playing Mario Kart Vita for a while now. Don't tell Nintendo. In recent years, emulation has progressed by leaps and bounds, and now we have even been seeing emulation on other consoles. I sense a paradox there. Only recently did the Steam Deck release, and people were already trying to run Nintendo Switch games on Steam Deck. Yeah, I have some thoughts about that, but I'll get to that in a minute. Today, we are introduced to something new. Spanish developer Zerpi Granel, just a couple of hours ago, released Vita to Host, aka Vita to Horizon iOS, which, as the developer puts it, is not emulation, but a translation layer that runs Vita games natively on the Switch. Yup, natively. Something tells me that Sony and Nintendo are really not gonna like that one. Vita to Host, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm assuming that's code word for host, maybe? Kinda, sorta, works by redirecting the module imports of the PS Vita ARM v7 CPU executables to jump to routines that implement the same behavior. This enables the Switch's ARM v8 CPU to natively run the PS Vita ARM v7 CPU-based executables in 32-bit execution. Well, I don't know much about the technical part of this, but it sounds like a fantastic formula for alphabet soup. For further details about the project, you can head over to the project's page on GitHub, which, don't worry guys, I will have linked in the video description, where you'll also find that this is not the developer's first stint with the console modding and programming, and not his first project for the Switch or Vita either. Sounds like this ain't his first rodeo too. The advent of smartphones and new ages of handheld gaming may have brought down the Vita, but it enjoyed a fair share of glory with cult titles such as Gravity Rush, Velocity 2X, Persona 4 Golden, Guacamelee, Spelunky, and many more. Oh, author of this article, you're making me feel the feels. And now we may be able to relive them again, albeit on the Nintendo Switch. Something that many of us would have considered mutiny in the past, but I guess not anymore. End quote, as they say. Wow, I can't believe things have gone this far, guys. I mean, I knew that the passion that a lot of these homebrew developers and hackers have made for the PS Vita have been truly outstanding and tremendous, but man, now it's starting to bleed over into other platforms, and that's just amazing to me. Although playing Gravity Rush on the Switch, there just seems to be something so evil about that. What a marvelous world we live in. Now, the next little tidbit of information comes directly from Reddit and a user named Space Age Hero. And I think this discussion is important because it really does clarify things. Some things that even I myself was a bit confused about. I'm always confused though. He had a discussion with another user named Broken Boy 331. Gotta say, I love that username. And he asked, just so I understand this correctly, this is translating Vita calls to Switch calls, allowing Vita software to be run on Switch, like running Windows applications executions through Wine on Linux. And Space Age Hero replied with, exactly right. He's the opening poster too on Reddit, by the way. PlayStation Vita ARM v7 CPU executables can be run natively on Nintendo Switch through ARM v8 CPU in 32-bit execution mode. When loading a PlayStation Vita executable, Vita to host redirects the module imports of said executable to jump to routines that implement the same behavior by using native Horizon OS services like the one exposed by the original PlayStation Vita OS module. Though what's very important to keep in mind here, and the creator of this feature even made sure to clarify this on Reddit, and that is to keep in mind that this is still in its proof of concept stage. And thus Sony and Nintendo breathe a huge sigh of relief. For now. So it might be a little while longer before this becomes a 100% total reality. Oh, and also, going back to the Steam Deck for a moment here, does anybody else find it kind of odd that this feature became available just shortly after the Steam Deck was released? Is that a coincidence, or was that originally planned out? Zerpy, what are you up to? Honestly, I wouldn't mind hearing down in the comment section if you do have information on this. But anyway, guys, for those of you with Nintendo Switches out there and Vitas, you'll be happy to know that you'll soon be able to play Vita games on your Nintendo Switch, if that's something that you're into. And again, it just goes to show how passionate these homebrew and hackers are for this little platform. And I know I'm speaking for everyone when I say we are eternally grateful for it. But guys, I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. Do you have a Nintendo Switch, and did you always just dream and salivate at the thought of being able to play your Vita games on the Switch? If so, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Or maybe you don't even own a Switch and you're just happy with just the Vita. Let me know that too. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. A huge thank you and shout out to all these wonderfully generous supporters who help make this content possible, including Makis Blob, B Mystery, Matt Fox, Reiko Star, Nirarashi, Milk Sama, Bushin Ryu Cat, Robert Johnson, Zakrito, Frayton, Alan Iwazuk, Shin Snake, Meshuga 360, Gutter Drums, Hemdall Imbert, Wendy K, David Ray, Phantom XRS, Saul Ramirez, Kyle Brooks, JR, Silica, Per Sterner, Adam Thury, Skullshirtugal TCG, BMF, Claimer Malarkey, VG Legends, Jared Hado, Kevin Enright, Heston Joseph, Crazy Cat, Rodrigo Vera, Hero Acer, Adam Sondi, PS Vita S, Richard Cruz, Joseph Shavak, Jelle, H-Hitter, Michael O'Connor, Chris Foxhound, Saban Fire, Robert Sylvester, Aridri, No Good, Lacerated 87, Jamie, Hector Gonzalez, Kayonko, Burzin Mystery, Juan M. Hermosillo, Eric DeWitt, Tasha Monty, Mazgus, Matt Hargett, Buzz Sayan, Rizal Pliskin, 1488 Dental, Azumara, Nintendo Switch at 2 AM, Donut Valley, Ricardo Martinez, and Dr. Super Artie. If you would be interested in supporting the channel and seeing your name on this end screen here, or if you wish to remain anonymous, that can be provided too, then make sure to check the links down in the description below. I have numerous ways for you to do this down there. Can't support in this manner? Don't worry about it. I also have some affiliate links from PlayAsia for anyone out there who is interested in purchasing something from their website, merchandise as well, all of which can be found in the video description. And of course, likes and shares can help equally as much. And oh great, thank you, hackers. It wasn't bad enough that I had Sony breathing down my neck, but now I'm also going to have Nintendo too? I think it may just be time for me to get a change of address.